Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. He Knows Ball here. It's Monday morning, September 16th. The second episode, but, we have to talk about the Lost Chronicles of episode 1. Boys, what happened last week?
Somebody forgot to plug in something, but, it was the first episode. We all make mistakes,
No excuses.
Oh, well then.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's the show. Have a good night, everybody. No, but seriously, I think we did very good on the first show. Obviously, nothing to show for on the YouTube, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think Soren's alley was really funny. I think Jack switching up his pick was honestly my favorite part. Seeing John fall apart, completely disheveled. But no, I think the first episode went well. But this time we have video. Hopefully, it's working.
Hi, everyone out there.
How you doing? How you doing? But no, seriously, a very exciting week, especially of football. So we're gonna dive into a bunch of topics, but as we always do, we're gonna start this episode off with a little bit of trivia.
Does he know ball?
Cam and Gorman, great audio technician over there. What you got today, Cam?
All right. So, actually did not give you guys any sort of clue at the beginning, so we're going to hope this one goes pretty well, but
Oh, man.
maybe it's going to be an easy one. Maybe it's going to be a tough one. Maybe we'll see if you guys really know ball. For the question of today, one NFL team has played in both the AFC and NFC championship games. Who is it? And if you want to go for the years as well, I have those listed.
It's not the Detroit Lions. They're terrible.
No.
Sorry, that was bad. That was mean. I took a free shot at you. My first instinct was the Colts, but that didn't seem right. I didn't think so.
Man, I'm stumped.
Man, I guess everyone's going to stop tuning in now. Guess we don't know ball. AFC and NFC.
Championships.
Is it like modern era or pre-Super Bowl?
All the dates that I have are from the modern era.
Okay, so
Modern era, okay.
So who was in? Oh, the Rams?
Close. Actually, depending on where they were at the time, but I guess you're kind of trying to get on the right track.
I've the way. What?
Maybe you're close.
Yeah, I'm actually wrong side of the country.
Maybe
St. Louis? Well, I'm thinking St. Louis.
they were the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they weren't in
They won the AFC though.
No.
Was it the Raiders, maybe?
No.
All right. Another quick hint. This team is now currently still in the NFC, so they were originally in the AFC.
Damn, this is a good. This is
a good one,
Jack
yeah.
came up with this one, right?
Yes,
this is a
this
good question,
one's
Jack.
for
Good
Jack.
job,
I'm
dude.
stumped.
Great question.
Yeah.
So,
But you were on the right track with the Rams. I will say that.
so like West
What is
Coast,
Yeah.
was it Seahawks?
Yes.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Really? What were the years?
Let's go. Let's go.
So 83, they played in the AFC Championship. That was the only time they were in the AFC Championship. And then 05, 13,
Well, yeah, I
and
knew-
15, obviously, for
Damn.
the AFC.
I did
That
not
was
know
Jack.
that.
No, I
that's
didn't know that.
Jack, that's a really good question. Last week I feel like it was a little bit too easy with that. I mean, what are we talking about? This is the first episode. Lost
yeah.
Chronicles.
Did you want to hear his other one?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
I had no idea if
Yeah.
we were gonna get close.
We talked about it a little bit before.
This one's like low-key a banger. I don't think anyone was going to get it even close. So yesterday, the Saints beat the Cowboys 44-19, making that the 1,086th unique final score in NFL history. In honor of that, what is the highest score that the losing team has had in a scoreagami? The answer is 51. It was the Rams and Chiefs in 2018.
Honestly,
that game.
We coulda got that.
I was gonna say that one. Like when we had talked about this before this, I was gonna say I didn't think that we would. Like we heard scoregami. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. That probably would have been my only guess. I wouldn't think I would have been able to get anything else. But nah,
I forgot about that
Two
game.
really good trivia questions. Sorry we took so long. I guess we don't know ball as much as we do. But let's move away from trivia and let's get started with. We'll start with the NFL this week. A lot of good games, but the big storyline is Mr. Tua Tagovailoa on Thursday, running into Damar Hamlin's chest and getting concussed, his fourth in the last 3 seasons. And I think it really begs the question. I know he said he's not going to retire, but should he retire at this point?
Listen, I think for his safety and his own health, he should, but he's a football player. He doesn't want to. But, I mean, if doctors are going out there telling you should retire, I mean, his brain is not – we're not going to make fun of him, but his brain's not going to be
It's not
Yeah.
all
where
there.
it will be, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with John. I think he I forget who said, but I think he needs to get his helmet taken away. I think he just needs to pack it up just for his safety, because it even happens with guys in the NHL over the years when they start having really bad symptoms of CTE like afterwards.
I mean, if you're on Twitter, you see CTESPN. Great Twitter page. Not really. But you see the effects of it. He might be one of the people who should, if he continues to play, wear that turtle shell. I know I think they look very stupid, but for a guy like that, he needs that extra protection at this point.
At this point, yeah.
You know, you're having this many concussions at such a young age. He's only in his 5th NFL season. Last year, he proved in that offense he can be very successful. Yeah. So he's on, I wouldn't say the come up because he's been good since he started in the league. But I just don't think you can continue to play and not take these extra precautionary measures. So like a guy who gets a concussion previously, it might only be out 2-3 weeks. Tua needs to wait. Like, there's no need to rush him back. And he said he's going to wait until he is healthy, which is a good mentality. But also, like we said, he is a football player. He's going to try and get that out there as quickly as possible.
Well, he's seeing that neurologist. They're probably going to say the same thing, like, hey, you probably shouldn't play. Probably shouldn't play anymore.
Do we think he's going to be the next Megatron, Luke Kuechly, Andrew Luck, like a guy who is super, super talented, but retires 28, 29, 30 years old?
I mean, at this rate, he's going to have to. I mean, you're going to be...
He's going to be forced to,
Yeah, he's going to... If he continues to get hurt like this, I mean, and who knows, he can come back again and just get hurt. It's like that. With him, I feel like last year, he took that step of, like, he knew how to protect himself. But then Thursday, he just goes out there with, like, the run didn't even matter at that point. And then you just go, like, with your head, right? Like, that's not smart.
Yeah. No, and I think he has a good chance of being like the next Andrew Luck because it just comes with the game, like this, you know, the injuries. I mean, even Joe Burrow acknowledged that. He's like, he knows the risk of, you know, playing football, but he just loves the game so much. But sometimes you have to sometimes other options outweigh like playing the game.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think, I mean, it's going to be sad to see if he's a guy who retires young. Hopefully he comes back and doesn't ever have an injury like this again because, again, he is ultra talented. He's been very, very good in Miami. Last year, like you said, he really protected himself, and he had his best year. He played the entire season, and Miami's offense was super successful. Right now, they're rocking with Skylar Thompson until they sign somebody, so Miami's in trouble.
And Tim Boyle as the backup. You don't want to go down that road. We've seen that last year. So
let him boil.
Even in the football side as well, like Tua just means so much to that team. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, the system is like, it's like
but
the 49ers system. But
yeah,
he means so much. You saw them when he got hurt. Like, they knew. Like, they're going to be in trouble for a little bit.
Yeah,
right
well, even for the city of Miami, too, he means a lot. Yeah. Like, I don't think if worst case scenario, he ends up like Andrew Luck, I don't think he'll get that kind of lukewarm reception to it. I think he's so beloved because he's really turned their franchise around in a couple of years. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, a lot of injuries this week. Obviously, Tua is being the main one. But there was a couple yesterday and leading up to this weekend as well. So we'll start with the Chiefs. Two of their big offensive weapons going to miss some time. Hollywood Brown out for the entire season, which really caught me off guard. I don't know why they waited until week 2. I guess they were hoping that he would come back, and doctors said otherwise. And Isaiah Pacheco getting hurt, fracturing his fibula yesterday. Receiving-wise, they'll be fine. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. So Hollywood being out isn't the biggest thing. We look at Pacheco, though. Their depth chart for running back, they only have 2 other guys. They have Samaje Perine, who is not logged to run this year, and Carson Steele. Yeah. I mean, Carson Steele has great hair. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but
phenomenal locks. But is that your RB1?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I were them, I would go out and sign someone. We saw Steele yesterday fumbled, too. He doesn't have a lot of experience. I mean, we all know Mahomes is Mahomes, but it's also you have to have some kind of a running game. You can't just rely on him. I mean, he didn't play well yesterday, and they still won, but it's like, all right, you can't just put it all on him.
Do you think it's too early to go make a trade?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, right now they're 2-0, but we know how loaded the AFC is. Like, if you lose a couple of games, that next team's going to come and jump right up over you. Yeah.
No, I agree. With Pacheco elevates that offense, so it's a big loss, especially for my fantasy, which we'll get to. But yeah, I would definitely go out and sign somebody because you can't have Mahomes, I guess, carry that whole offense on his shoulder because, like you said, he didn't really look that great yesterday, and they could have easily lost that game. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think they should just go out and sign somebody.
The question is, who is available for them to go and get at this point? Like I'm trying to figure. Like trade wise, you think maybe you go and get a Raheem Mostert because it seems like Achan's the guy in Miami. Maybe Cordy P from Pittsburgh. I'm just like, who are you going to get?
I'm actually looking on Twitter right now for all this stuff. For some reason, Kareem Hunt's name is trending right now. And people want Kareem Hunt. People want Boston Scott as well. Those seems to be the two names that are flying around. Granted, it's a bunch of people, just random people on Twitter talking about it. It's no one like official, but
I mean, I would love me some Boston Scott in Kansas City. Do they play? They don't play the Giants this year, right? I was gonna say sign him purely for. I don't think so. I was gonna say sign him purely for that Giants game.
I mean, Kareem Hunt's a little intriguing to me. You saw what he did when he was there. I mean, they had the issues, but
Yeah.
I mean, super talented backer. I'm kind of surprised he didn't end up staying in Cleveland. So Cleveland could definitely use him now. Obviously, Jerome Ford's been fine. Chubb's still recovering, but like Hunt was still very productive there. So I'm not surprised that is a name that's trending. He didn't have any like off-season or like preseason camp with anybody, right?
nope.
I don't think so.
So he's probably going to come in a little rusty. Maybe get your favorite beverage / running back, DC.
Well, he's on the Cowboys now.
Well, they could trade for him. The Cowboys aren't using
I think
him.
the Chiefs are good. I think
Cowboys
they rather use the fullback.
I think Dalvin wants to prove that he's still the better brother after what James Cook did this week. Golly, that was a heck of a game. But a couple other big injuries. Christian McCaffrey getting placed on the IR kind of really late in the week, too, which begs the question, why did they not do it earlier? Why did they wait so long? I'm happy. I got Jordan Mason on my squad. I'm smiling ear to ear, but I'm curious on why are you waiting so long to add McCaffrey?
Yeah, that confused me because I think they knew even week 1 that he wasn't playing. Maybe they were just trying to see if he can get through a practice, but I mean that calf Achilles thing, you don't want to mess with that.
No,
because if he makes one bad turn, the season's over for him. So
yeah, I mean,
they don't really need him either right now. To be honest,
They
with
don't.
you.
No.
Obviously, they come up short yesterday against the former Jet.
Sam Darnold, man.
Sam Darnold,
Beast.
Minnesota Vikings. We'll obviously get to that in a little bit, but they don't need him. But also, in the same time, like it is Christian McCaffrey. He has been healthy in the 2 years he's been in San Fran, which is nice. So not to be like he was due, but I think a lot of people were thinking he was due for an injury. How long is he going? They said he could be back. I think it was week 5 or week 6.
6. Yeah.
How long are you holding him out for? Because that's the earliest he could come back.
I think you bring him back if he's ready to go week 6. I think you bring him back, but they're not going to go out there and use him for 25 carries. I think he'll get like 10 to 15. Use Jordan Mason still, and then like you don't need him. That's what I'm saying. Like obviously it's Christian McCaffrey, but at the end of the season when you really need him.
Yeah,
playoff time.
They'll ease him back in.
Yeah, because we all know they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, and they don't want to throw him in like cold turkey, and then he just gets injured again.
It'd be different if Mason had been struggling with the first couple games. He's going out
Yeah.
there look really good.
Look really good. Yeah.
2 big receiver injuries. Justin Jefferson, Bruce Quad, probably nothing to be worried about. Just missed the rest of the game yesterday. And Cooper Kupp, that's a little bit worrisome, especially with Puka Nacua getting added to the IR last week. He was seen with a walking boot after the game. Are the Rams doomed? Like that's a big loss if he has to go on the IR as well.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned with the receiving core. I mean, they have Demarcus Robinson, but are they going to turn to Tutu Atwell? Like, I mean, I don't know. You lose Puka and Cooper. I mean, that's going to be tough to get over.
Yeah, I mean, and the Rams O-line hasn't been blocking for Stafford either.
No.
the last 2 weeks.
Stafford might be joining them soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
but
they were
possibly.
awful yesterday. So
Yeah, I mean, I had high hopes for them too. I thought they were going to be a team that can. I mean, they're always going to put up points, but now they're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle.
yeah,
He's going to turn Tutu Atwell into a 1,000-yard receiver.
I mean,
he did it with Kupp. He did it with Puka. Maybe he'll turn Tutu Atwell or Robinson.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll end up being, or your boy Colby Parkinson.
He's getting dropped immediately. But I mean, Tutu Atwell, like he was a high draft pick, so I mean, maybe he can show something.
Second rounder. Right?
yeah.
Yeah, he was up there, 2nd or 3rd rounder. So hopefully he can show something for them.
Yeah, let's hope so. But let's get in some of these games from this past week. I think the first one we have to start with is the New Orleans Saints. Now, this Saints squad, they beat the brakes off of Carolina last week, kind of expected, even though I picked the Panthers to win last week. Not doing that again. But so you think they're going into Dallas. They're probably not going to go and dominate. They're probably not even going to win. Oh, they dominated. They absolutely dominated a Dallas team that had beaten the heck out of the Browns the week before. So this was not how the game was supposed to go. And, I mean, there's one man who's truly responsible for a lot of this offense, and it is Super Camario. But no, seriously, he had 180 all-purpose yards, 4 tutties. Derek Carr out there. I don't want to say he's looking like Drew Brees because he only did throw 16 passes. But seriously, this Saints offense had no business being this good against, especially a really good Dallas defense.
Yeah, it's the same story every year with Dallas. It's just like they look so good, and then they just look terrible. And then, like, next week they'll play the Ravens, they'll look great. I feel it was just the Saints caught them at the right time, I guess, because I don't think the Saints are that good.
Yeah. Well, I think the Cowboys defense is just built to like being like in front all the time.
Yeah.
Like when they're down, they just, they struggle.
Yeah.
And they had no answer for Kamara. They had no answer for. I mean, Derek Carr was slinging that ball yesterday. Like they just.
Shaheed was having a field day.
Yep.
Again,
they had no answer.
Why is Rashid Shaheed Derek Carr's favorite weapon? He has a guy like Olave, and he still throws to Shaheed, so especially early in the game.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you why. I mean, that doesn't make it. But he's always open. Like he's just running open. Like no one's even.
I mean, he is.
Maybe he's invisible out there.
He has to be. People just forget about him just because it's him. Another team I want to talk about because we'll ask the question after bringing up all three, but we mentioned the Niners losing to Minnesota. Minnesota with a big victory. Sam Darnold out there slinging it. Couple tutties, just about 270 yards. Obviously, we talked about Jay Jettas getting banged up, but beating a Niners team that I think a lot of people kind of breezed past us. I think a lot of people thought this Niners team was going to kind of mop the floor with the Vikings. Vikings had the Week 1 win against the Giants, return home, and beat a Niners team that is significantly better than them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Kevin O'Connell, man. He just knows how to coach quarterbacks. I've always thought Sam Darnold had the talent. He just needed the coaching and the weapons, and this is what they have both there.
Yeah.
And that defense is much, much improved from the Vikings. We saw last year they were starting to show the signs of it because they never had the defense for Kirk Cousins. Now I think that the defense is here. They've arrived. I mean, they shut down the 49ers. Brock Purdy, I feel you can see sometimes that he was the last pick in the draft, and yesterday was one of those days he struggled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was very confused. I mean, Brian Flores, he's a very good defensive coach, so that's why Purdy was a little off.
Yeah, I mean, they were putting pressure on him all game. I mean, 6 sacks. I mean, they just were making it hard for him. And, like, to your point, like, he just didn't look, I don't know, it was just kind of out of sync to me.
Yeah.
They made a couple of sneaky offseason moves. They bring in Stephon Gilmore, who a couple years ago, that's a big signing, but in the past couple years, it's kind of age has started to show with him. Bring in a guy like Brian Cashman, bring in Andrew Van Ginkel. Those two guys both came up with sacks yesterday, both had tackles for losses. Cashman led the team in total tackles.
The former Jets man, Brian Cashman.
But no, seriously, like, Minnesota made a bunch of good moves in the offseason, not, blockbuster type deals, but they bring in a handful of solid defenders. You talk about Flores and what he does for that defensive squad, and Minnesota's 2-0 after 2 weeks. And another team that we have to talk about, the Arizona Cardinals. Again, Kupp getting hurt against missing most of the game definitely doesn't help. Kyler Murray going out there, just out there slinging it. It posts on Twitter the yawning emoji after the game. But no, seriously, James Conner having a great game, over 120 yards. Starvin Marvin Harrison getting his first, I would say his first 2 NFL receiving touchdowns. So I want to ask the question with all 3 of these teams. The Cardinals are 1-1, but they held their own against Buffalo last week. The Vikings are 2-0 and beat the Niners. Yeah. The Saints are 2-0 and just beat the brakes off the Cowboys. Are all 3 of these teams legit? And if you had to take stock in one of them to make the playoffs week 2 at this point, who are you taking stock in?
I think they're all contenders. I think so, because Murray's throwing to oh my God, I just lost it. Oh, Marvin Harris, jeez.
Starvin Marvin.
Yeah,
Come
Starvin
on,
Marvin. And no, but if I had to put some stock into one team, oh man, that's a tough choice. I would probably say the Saints, to be honest. I would say the Saints. Because, with Kamara and that defense, too, I just think the Saints are a different team this year. I think they have the best chance. Because, I don't know, with Justin Jefferson being out with the Vikings, I'm not sure, if they're going to stay consistently good on offense. So I would say the Saints.
And even in that division, too, like the Lions, obviously losing yesterday, but we know the Lions are the best team in that division. Yeah. As Cam tries not to look at me, shakes his head in frustration. But no, even like the Packers come up victorious with Malik Willis. Don't even want to talk about that. that game made me sick.
Ugly game.
Very ugly. Who else? The Bears. The Bears being the Bears.
Yeah, Caleb got killed.
So, like, but even still, like, they're 2-0. But the Giants are kind of a big win against the Niners. But I think if I had to pick a team right now, it would be Arizona. You think the Rams are really banged up. Niners are coming off a loss. Again, I think the Niners will be fine. But you think wild card-wise, I think they probably have the best chance to make the playoffs. But you also look at that NFC South. The Falcons, 0-1 in Philadelphia tonight. The Bucks, I mean, Baker looks solid. Shake and bake. So to win the division, I think it'd be the Saints. Definitely. But to make a wild card, I think it's got to be Arizona. Because you saw last week, Marvin Harrison was not involved in the offense, and Arizona was still very, very productive. Harrison gets involved, and they beat the heck out of the Rams. So I think this Cardinals team has the best chance of making the playoffs. But, John, if you had to put stock in a team right now, who would it be?
Last year I was a big Saints guy. I said it from the beginning, and they proved they were terrible. So I don't think I can go with them again. I really believe in the Sam Darnold magic, man. I think he can get that team in the playoffs. Maybe not going to go far, but I think they'd be in the wild card. And I still think Seattle. They played well so far, but they haven't really played great teams. But I think Seattle would have that edge over the Cardinals. I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals their coaching staff hasn't really proven anything yet. And Murray's health is always a question mark.
Yeah,
you don't know the way he runs around and everything. Any second he can just drop, and that would destroy that team. But that can happen with anyone, I think. But I don't know. If I had to guess, the Vikings. I think they'll be in.
Are we banking on a Sam Darnold type, Geno Smith type Sam Darnold?
I really
think
he's gonna have a great year.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get himself a nice contract.
Do we think so let's say he plays like this for the rest of the season. Maybe not winning them games, but definitely not losing them. Vikings go 9-8, grab the last wild card spot. He throws for like 35, maybe 4,000 yards. He has a really good year. Is Minnesota buying him back? Are they bringing him back, or are they going with McCarthy?
I think they're going to let him go, and he's going to get paid by someone else.
Who do you think would be the team? The Giants? Get him back in jet line?
I don't think the Giants. I don't know. I feel it would be one of those like
maybe Seattle does.
Seattle, yeah. I mean, Vegas. You never know. They bring him in for the year.
Well, I mean, you see with the weapons.
Yeah.
You see with these weapons, like you see when Geno got guys like Metcalf, Lockett. Yeah. He had success. You give a guy like Darnold, you give him Aaron Jones, you give him Jefferson. He hasn't even had Hawkinson yet. Has Addison.
Addison's hurt. Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, he's been having the success without the entirety of that Minnesota offense. Yeah. So what's he gonna do when all those guys come back?
And I got that soft spot for him. I'm rooting for him. I hope he really does well.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he should have been successful, but again, Adam Gase.
Yeah, that'll derail anyone's career.
Get Adam Gase on the podcast. It'll end it real quick.
No, that would end the show.
Let's go to another game. We talked about a team being bad. This team's really, really bad. The Carolina Panthers getting dominated at home by the Los Angeles Chargers. Quentin Johnson, 2 tutties. I couldn't tell you whoever would have bet on that in the world. They must be studied mentally, but this Carolina team is so bad. It's abysmal to watch. Tommy Tremble being the leading receiver. First off, Tommy Tremble, think about that.
Play for the Irish, though. So.
I don't care. I'm just saying. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, he was the leading receiver, though, but 23 yards. Like, that's it.
Bryce Young.
That's what they had to show
Bryce
for.
Young completed 8. Look, his completion percentage was nice.
Yeah,
he completed it for 84 yards. They had 18 completions.
That 6 QBR is always nice, right?
Should they be in the FCS? Like, they're so bad.
They might have to be to the UFL. Or they might even be banished from the UFL.
Get them in an arena football.
We got to think about this, though. Like, the worst teams in the history of the league, they might be the worst team in the history of the league.
Oh, they might be worse than the 0-16 Browns.
They might be.
Are they the new Lions? You know, the Lions have been bad. They were bad for a long time. Like, Lions are on the come up, and Carolina is plummeting, and plummeting fast, too.
I mean, it's one of those teams, too. It's weird because, like, usually teams with young quarterbacks are not this terrible, but Bryce Young is the reason why. I think they're just garbage. Like he just has. I mean, it's continuing from last year. I saw a stat yesterday. He's like 2-15, right, in his career.
Yeah,
or
I think it's something
or
like that.
2-17 now. Something.
Yeah, something like
it's
that.
just not. I don't know. I wouldn't even give him that much longer, to be honest with you. I give him 5 more games, and he looks like this. He's gone on the bench.
They're going to draft
Yeah.
another one,
Which is
embarrassing.
at this
2
point.
years after spending a first overall pick.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they didn't have their first rounder this year. You know, they traded.
had no help.
They traded up to get Young. They end up giving up the first overall pick. Chicago gets Caleb Williams. So maybe if they have that pick, they obviously wouldn't draft a quarterback, but they trade back and get some weapons. You look at the other quarterbacks from that class. I mean, Will Levis is getting screamed at by Brian Calvin. But no, seriously, because Will Levis is a very talented quarterback. Just makes he's done it both weeks. He's made just boneheaded mistakes.
Yeah.
Richardson has that upside, but him and Levis, I said this yesterday, him and Levis, maybe not play styles are the same, but they'll have a highlight reel play on one possession, and the next possession, they'll flip it straight to the other team, or he'll throw it, and there's no defender there. It's just like they play very similar. Or Stroud, like there's 3. Where was Chicago picking from in that draft before they traded up? I think they were 9.
That's what I'm saying. They gave up.
Yeah,
so
they were
much.
like top 10, I think.
Yeah, and
They gave up DJ Moore. They gave up the first the first overall pick last
Well, that's why I
year.
think this might be like the biggest bust. Like they gave up so much for so little,
And-
like so little.
And if you think about it too, like all these quarterbacks you're talking about, they've showed something. Like
They've
you could
showed
see-
Yeah.
signs.
He showed nothing.
Well, I
Like,
think I saw a stat too. They haven't led in like 200 and some days or something.
I can't stop
That's
laughing.
awful.
Corey, I'm looking at this right now. His career, he has 11 career touchdowns, which is abysmal. 13 picks. His projections for this year are 0 touchdowns and 26 interceptions. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
And
at
I
this
thought like
point.
Kenny Pickett's stats in a couple of years was bad.
I mean, this is awful. They have to go.
They're going quarterback.
Yeah, they have to.
Who are they going to beat? They'll beat the Giants and feel good about themselves. Like that's the only win they're going to get.
That's going to cost them the first overall.
Yeah,
pick.
like I don't know.
Absolute toilet bowl. 16-1 them
That's-
versus the Giants.
I mean, John was saying off air, he's like, how do you watch a Steelers game? I'm just thinking, how do you watch a Panthers game?
Panthers,
Like,
dude, Panthers and Giants in London. That's got to be like the preview of our show.
my
I mean,
God.
that game's going to be something.
I don't think I'd rather watch paint dry.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds awful. But you brought up the Steelers. Steelers 2-0. Not in the prettiest fashion.
Oh, yeah.
This
Oh, yeah.
season have the same amount of touchdowns as the Panthers.
well, we don't talk about that,
but
Vinny.
they do have 2 victories. Currently leading the AFC North because of that defense, man.
somehow.
Well, it's because of that defense.
Yeah.
That defense is swallowing. They got after Knicks pretty well yesterday. Forced a couple interceptions.
Well, that first half, I mean, Justin Fields looked pretty solid. I mean, he was 10 of 12, I think 100 yards. And then that second half, he threw for just 16 yards. And he threw the ball like 6 or 7 times. Like, Mike Tomlin's like, you know what? This second half, how about we go back to what we did in week 1 and just not get into the end zone, not even try and get into the end zone. And our defense put our foot off the gas a little in the fourth quarter. I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, don't tell me that Bo Nix is going to lead a game tying drive now in the final minutes. Like, but yeah, it was. They looked slightly better, but like slightly better is like you can't even see the difference.
Listen, they can't get worse for the offense.
is-
right?
No, they
And
didn't get
won-
worse.
They won 2 games.
Well, hold on.
I mean, they can lose.
Technically, they can get on a technicality. Yes, they can. But no, let's check in with the rookie quarterbacks. Knicks looked awful yesterday, but going against one of the best defenses in the NFL, I feel. Last night on primetime, Caleb was better than his first start.
Still not good.
Still not good. I think it's still consensusly that Daniels is the top quarterback in the class.
So far, I think so. Yeah, I mean,
No touchdown scored, only field goals from them.
7
but
field goals. Yeah,
7 for 7. Go Austin Seibert.
but Bo Nix just doesn't look. Which I'm shocked by. I feel he would be the most like prepared to play because of who his coach is.
How old he is.
Yeah, and he's had so much experience, but he looks very confused out there. Caleb Williams, I just feel he's trying to do a little too much, which he's not trying to stay within the offense. He's trying to do a little too much, and he was holding on to the ball too long. That's why he was taking all those hits. And then Jaden Daniels, I mean, he's doing well. I just think we saw he got banged up yesterday. I think he's running a little too much. That's his instinct. He's just going to do that. But I mean
He
they got
needs to
the
protect-
win.
He
Yeah.
needs to protect himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I think
he was fine against the Giants. It's the Giants. I'm not surprised. You go against a team like the Niners, the Steelers, the Titans, like a team that has the Jets, solid defense. Like he's gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna hit him hard.
Even this week coming up against the Bengals, I mean they pressure a lot, so he's better.
Sure. Well, their next
Henderson's
couple
gonna get
games.
after him, yeah. But I think the last game I want to talk about before we move on to college is this Ravens-Raiders game. It's very concerning, especially saying the Ravens were leading early in this game. There's almost no reason that they should have lost this, up 16-6 early in the third quarter, and they fall apart. They're 0-2 to start the season. They're at Dallas next week. You're 0-3. You're not winning your division.
Well, as a Steelers fan, that's great. I was watching that game. I was like, that shanked putt. I'm like, let's go. Like, please win.
Who would have thought after 2 weeks the standings would be Steelers, Browns, Bengals, and Ravens?
I would have never thought
That's the
that.
beauty of the NFL, though. It's just weird. I mean, also you got to give credit to the Raiders. Like you can see once Pierce took over, they have like that different edge to
They
them.
have that grit to them.
They have
Yeah.
it, and Minshew's the perfect quarterback for that. I think. I mean, obviously he's not the most talented, but we saw what he did with the Colts last year. Him and Pierce, I feel like those are like two leaders that you want like on your team. I mean, he's spreading the ball around to the weapons, and this is concerning for the Ravens because they always have these leads the last like 2-3 years, and they can't close the games out.
Yeah, that's including the postseason
Yeah,
too.
the postseason.
Like, yeah.
It's just been a trend that's not good. But also, if you want to think about it as a Ravens, like I'm not a Ravens fan, but as like if you were, like they had 2 games they could have easily won too. So like I feel like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like
They're right there.
flip a
They just
coin.
have to.
Yep.
Just have to finish. You brought up how Minshew's the perfect quarterback. I think there's no true definition. I think my favorite Gardner Minshew story. I think he was on Pardon My Take, and he was talking about how he was at Washington State, and he had played just enough snaps to not be eligible for redshirt. So he got a handle of Jim Beam and a hammer and started like hammering away at his hand to try and get that medical redshirt. I mean, that's like seriously, that's like a Raiders type guy, a guy who's willing to do whatever it takes to continue to
Yeah.
play football.
Well, they're kind of like brothers on that team. Like what Max Crosby after he threw that interception, I think it was, or was it one
Yeah,
turnover?
It was the interception.
Yeah, it was an interception. Yeah, and they just are like one. They're like one unit now. They're all in sync. Like they're 1-1, but still, like it's early in the season, and I mean they look good right now.
You love to see when a team will fight for each other.
Yeah,
And I'd say that's how Raiders football always is, but especially under Pierce. Pierce is the
Yeah.
perfect coach for this Raiders team. A team that probably shouldn't have a lot of success looking at the overall
But they'll
top to
surprise
bottom
people.
construct.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did it last year too.
Yep.
They didn't blow anyone away, but once Pierce comes in, they're willing to fight. And when a team is willing to fight for their coach, that's how you know you have a good team. That's how the Lions were a couple years ago when MCDC first came in. They're willing to die on the line, take a kneecap on the way down, whatever it is. But like, no, if you have a coach like that, an ultra motivator, someone who is willing to fire you up, and you're willing to do whatever it takes for that coach, the team's going to be successful. May not be a
Oh, yeah.
Super Bowl team, but you're going to win a lot of games.
I agree. I mean, and everyone was like, "Oh, they made Pierce the coach. What are they doing?" Like he coached up that defense last year. He's doing it again. They're flying around out
Yeah.
there. Especially that run game from the Ravens. They didn't do much yesterday. I
No.
mean, and guys, the Raiders are playing the Panthers this week. You know what that
Oh,
means?
God.
That's a W. So I mean, they're going to be 2-1.
yeah.
Jameis Winston.
And just think about Devontae Adams too. Like he wanted out. Like, and now at the end of that game, like beaming, smiling because
Yeah.
they came all the way back. Like, you know, this team is completely different than where they were last year.
100%. But let's go to the college level. A handful of teams on bye this week. For most of the ranked game, the main games, teams beating the brakes off of their opponents. Alabama beating up on Wisconsin, Tennessee, 71-0 against Kent State. Kent State's gonna have a bad run after that, heading over to Penn State this week. That's gonna be ugly. Miami 62-0 against Ball State. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish bouncing back after a big upset, 66-7 at Purdue. I think let out a lot of that pent-up frustration. One game that really caught my eye, though, Georgia just narrowly escaping at Kentucky. They didn't drop much, I don't think they dropped at all in the rankings.
They went down.
They went down one spot.
Went down one.
But they only went down one because it was a road conference win, but it definitely wasn't. It should not have been a game.
No, I mean, it's just that defense. 3 games now without allowing a touchdown. We'll see how long they can keep that up. I'm very invested in that for some reason. I don't know why. I want to see how many games they can go through.
I think the streak might end next week. I was looking at a lot of these SEC teams. These schedules are going to be very interesting. Almost of all the ranked teams, I think they have 6 or 7 ranked, or at least they have at bare minimum 3 ranked games. I want to say it was Alabama had like 7 games against ranked teams. But no, seriously, Georgia's off this week, and then they're at Alabama on the 28th. I think the touchdown streak might end then. But seriously, it's like the SEC has been phenomenal this year. Texas being great. Obviously, Quinn Ewers getting hurt. I think it was a lower abdomen strain. No. We got to see a certain prodigy. We'll get into them in a little bit. But no, seriously, Tennessee's looking phenomenal. Ole Miss looks great. Oklahoma's been there. They've been there. Missouri. But like this upcoming week, we're going to finally get to see some of these SEC teams, these ranked SEC teams, face off against each other. We have Tennessee and Oklahoma Saturday night when we're out at the Emmys, so I might have to just sneak my phone
Put
out.
it on the phone, yeah.
But no, even some other like non-conference games or non-SEC conference games. We got Michigan and USC, which at the beginning of the year I don't think I'd be excited for. I'm really missing. We've talked about Michigan not being that great. I don't think they're all that. And this USC team's kind of come out fiery. I really, really like it. But a team that was ranked at the beginning of the season, and now they're 0-3. The Florida State Seminoles. Should we do an honorary chop for them, or is the chop dead?
No chop.
The chop's
Yeah,
dead?
no chop.
Nope.
0-3 against Memphis is solid. They'll end up being ranked at some point this season. Georgia Tech was ranked last week. But like 3 games that if you're ranked 10th overall to start the season, you should not lose. And I got to ask, are they the most fraudulent top 10 ranked team of all time?
I think they're up there.
I think they
they're
have
up
to
there.
be, right?
I mean, the memes going around, DJ, you need to get a job. I think that might hold true with how they've been playing. I mean, it's been bad. I mean, some of the throws that he's making, like trying to make.
They haven't scored more than 20 points in the last 2 games. Their defense has been fine too. Like their defense is not allowing a ton of points, but when your quarterback looks like they just got him off the street, they're like. Get a day job, get a 9-to-5, because clearly quarterback is not what he should be doing.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. It's just like I don't know how you can be like, but we know like how good Jordan Travis was for them last year. But it's like, how do you take that much of like a dip, right? Like they were all upset. Oh, we didn't make the playoff. Like just think last year without Jordan Travis, they would have gotten killed in the playoff. I mean, they did against Georgia in the bowl game.
Yeah.
And it just I feel like that momentum just carried down. Like it's just something's not right there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just not a good mix.
So we talked about with the Raiders, obviously, about like the locker room, having a coach you want to fight for, guys willing to fight for each other. This Florida State team is all transfers. That locker room has to be lost by now. You're a top 10 ranked team. You're 0-3. I feel like that locker room, and I feel like DJ, he is going to be out at quarterback very soon. Like he's not going to be the starter much longer.
Yeah, if they want to think about the future, it'd be like throw one of your recruits in. But I mean, who knows nowadays? Probably no one has any high school recruits anymore. Everyone's like, oh, we got to bring in these transfers. But like, you got to think of the team aspect, which no coach. I really feel like there's only a few coaches out there that really think of that now. I know Dabo Sweeney and Clemson. I mean, they're not the greatest, but like he's a guy that's like, I don't take transfers. Like I want to bring in my kind of players. And it's also if you got guys bouncing around from school to school, something's not right. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel that's why the chemistry is not coming together. But
the rankings kind of staying majority of the same. A couple teams moving up a few spots. Illinois and Texas A&M getting added to the top 25. Arizona and Boston College falling out. Arizona I had high hopes for, but Friday night against Kansas State didn't look good. I know it's really early, but I want to talk a little Heisman real quick. I think there's 3 guys who, at this point in the year, have to be the Heisman favorites. You have Cam Ward from the University of Miami. You have Jalen Milroe from Alabama and Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Kind of similar to how I asked about like the Cardinals and the Saints and the Vikings. Who is if you had to buy stock in one of these guys right now to win the Heisman, who are you buying stock in?
I'm taking Cam Ward, but I know how the voters probably work. They're probably they got to go with Milroe right now. But I feel Cam Ward's going to show, especially in conference. I mean, the ACC is not great, but I feel he's going to show that he is better than Milroe. I think he is personally anyway, but that's who I'm going with, Cam Ward.
I would say the same. I mean, those first 3 games, 3 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Milroe, I'm he's good, but they played Western Kentucky. USF didn't get going till the fourth quarter. He just hasn't been at that next level like Cam Ward has.
I definitely think that. I also think because of how tough the SEC is going to be, that might hurt Milroe and Dart. If they lose 2 games, you think Milroe's going to go to Georgia in his next game. He hasn't played anybody. We talked about it. He's going to go to they're going to host Georgia, but that defense is going to be swallowing. Yeah, he has 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns in each of his first 3 games. Against who? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If he does that against Georgia, I think he kind of cements himself. But if Miami goes 12-0, he already went into the swamp in Gainesville and was super, super successful. Every pass he throws is over 20 yards, basically. They showed a stat that he's leading head and shoulders in college football with 20-plus yard passes. And right after they showed that graphic, he threw a 21-yard touchdown. But no, seriously, he is insane. He's in his 5th year, so he probably won't be the highest drafted quarterback. But Heisman-wise, I think there's no doubt that he should be the guy.
Yeah, I mean, also, too, it's so early that I'm sure there'll be another guy that just comes out of nowhere that we're not even thinking of right now. That
Maybe Mini Mahomes?
That's my guy. I like him. He's got something about him. I mean, I know he looks like Mahomes, the way he everything he does, but he's got a bright future.
He's making Nebraska football fun again.
I mean, they're ranked, right?
They are ranked.
They got a big game coming up this week.
They have it's ranked versus ranked with them, I think.
Illinois,
right?
They got a Big Ten matchup right there.
That'll be a good game. But you said the 2 tragic words, my guy. You got to make fun. You got to make fun of my accent every once in a while. I think it's time to talk about Moi Gois of the week.
Wait, is that your Goi?
Oh, I thought that was your Goi.
No, that's
Moi Goi of the week.
I hate that sound drop.
It's so good.
It's really not.
It's good though. It's good.
Sure. Sure it is. So sticking with college, I'll get us started. It hurts for me to do this as a Sooners fan. My Moi Goi of the week is Arch Manning, quarterback for the University of Texas Longhorns. And I have been the biggest Archie Manning hater since he's not Archie. Archie's the patriarch of this great quarterback dynasty. But seriously, I've been a hater of Manning for a really, really long time. I said if his name was Arch Smith, he wouldn't be at Texas. But he got his opportunity when Ewers went down last week, and he proved that he's going to be the guy in Texas. I don't want to root for him. And again, it was against University of Texas, San Antonio, but went 9 for 12, 223 yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. Added 53 and a rushing touchdown. It was great, and they're not going to rush Ewers back, especially not this week. They're playing UL Monroe, facing former Sooners quarterback General Booty. I think we have to make that one of our future pick 5s.
Oh,
greatest college football names.
Maybe I could work on that for next week.
That might have to be yours for next week. But yeah, got to face General Booty. But he's going to get the start for that game. They're going to dominate. I'm curious on what they'll do after, especially if he does have a good game. It will depend on how Ewers is feeling. But they face Mississippi State, have that next week off, and then Red River against Oklahoma. So will they go to Ewers if he's at 75, 80% for Mississippi State, or will they stick with Manning, especially if he goes out there and has another really good game against UL Monroe?
Yeah, I think he'll start this week. I think depending on how he does, they might push him out there for the SEC game, like Mississippi State, because it is a conference game, so you can't take it lightly. But I'm excited for him. I feel like I know you talked a lot of garbage on him. I feel like everyone's kind of have. It's also everyone's like, oh, he should transfer. Nope, he's going to stay there. He learned from a good family. He knows how to play. He's going to be fine.
I think, obviously, all of his family, all of that, will definitely play into how he's developed. Being in a pro-ready offense will help him develop. But even being patient, because a lot of guys, if they don't start right away, they're going to transfer. Especially saying last year, he was the 3rd-string quarterback, held out. Murphy left. He's now the number 2 and getting opportunities. And after these years, Uwer's going to the draft, so he'll probably go to Texas till his senior year. I feel like you're not going to go 1 year of college.
No.
But you'll get 2 full years, barring injury, of Manning, and maybe he'll prove he's like his uncles. Maybe. I hope not. Because that's bad. That's bad news for Oklahoma if he is great. But yeah, Arch Manning, Moi Goi of the week. JD,
Moi Goi of the
who's
week.
your Goi?
Oh man, I don't know if whoever Pablo Sandoval. I mean, that guy is like he's from the past.
Did we
man.
just get in a time machine? Is it 2014?
I mean, the guy that won the World Series with the Giants. Yep, that's him, the third baseman. Now, I mean, he was a hitter all year for the Staten Island Ferry Hawks, who's one of the teams in the Atlantic League. I've watched him play a few times this year. Did not see Pablo Sandoval on the bump until the other day, where he went out there and pitched. Maybe it said he was starting the game. I got all excited, maybe like an inning or two. No, he goes out there, throws 5 1/3 inning, 4 hits, no runs, and 4 Ks. On top of that, he goes 1 for 3 at the plate with an RBI. I mean, who else is like that guy?
Let's see the next Otani. I was just about to say.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I
Just
think
about
that
to
was
say.
his last game he's ever played, so that's why he went out like that. They're probably- but I mean, that is insane.
I mean, that's a way to
That's
retire.
impressive.
That's a way
Yeah.
to retire. Do we know if they got the win? They had to have gotten
I
the
think
win.
they
Big
got the
Panda
win.
credited with the W.
Yeah, I think they got the win too. I mean, they're out of the playoff race, so like, yeah, well, let's have some fun, throw him in there. Then he just goes out there and throws like over 5 innings. I was like, wow.
They're gonna have to re-sign him.
They might have to
be the
just
2
become a pitcher.
he
now.
might come back.
Yeah.
Who do we got? Who's your Goi?
My Goi is Alvin Kamara, of course. I mean, we talked about it enough. I mean, 115 rushing yards, 65 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. He was too shy of breaking his own record that he set in 2020, also with 2 other guys, Gale Sayers and Dub Jones.
Hey,
So,
Corey, I don't want to interrupt, but you know who that was against too, right?
Mike
Whose
Zimmer.
defense that was?
Mike
Zimmer.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Back to
That
back
is right.
times
Yes,
against Mike.
that's
He
right.
Has in 2 games against Mike Zimmer defenses has almost 400 yards and 10 total touchdowns.
in 2 games.
You better hope the Saints do not run into Dallas in the playoffs because we already know what's gonna happen. But no, seriously.
That's my Goi of the week, yeah.
Super Camario. A lot of people, I think, after like last year, he was all right fantasy wise. He's always been super talented, but it was like, hey, he's not going to be that anymore. I think this year, at least in the first 2 weeks. What does Mario always say? Yahoo! We got Super Camario going.
That was awful.
Absolutely.
That was
terrible.
awful. Please
But-
don't do that again.
Okay, so I do have Super Camario in my league, well, I think our league I have him. But let's get into some fantasy. I think it's time for some fantasy freakouts. Oh my lordy, that is.
We have something wrong. There's something wrong here.
I mean, you said it, brother. All right, so for the first time ever, I went 3-0 in fantasy football.
Wow.
Swept the board, won our Marywood league, won my league back home, and won your little brother's league. Both against Jake Jones. In 2 of the 3 leagues, Jake, if you're watching, sorry, buddy.
Got a feel for the guy. That was
Get
unfortunate.
the broom. Mainly because of Super Camario in our league. I was projected to lose by a bunch. Even after Kamara's 3rd touchdown, I was still projected to lose somehow. But then just continue to have a great week. Kyler Murray, I think I have him in 2 of my leagues. 3 touchdowns, 266 yards. Starvin' Marvin, a 2-tutty day. Devon H. I drafted really well. I'm killing it.
It's only week 2.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, everyone's getting hurt, and most of them are most of them are Moi Goi, so I'm feeling all right. Devon Achane, 165 total scrimmage yards and a touchdown. DK Metcalf went ballistic yesterday, 10 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. And I think my favorite pick that I've gotten in 2 leagues, Hunter Henry, 8 catches for 109 yards in the loss against Seattle. Who would have thought Hunter Henry would be a top 5 tight end right now? I think it sucks that Hunter Henry, I have him in 2 of my leagues, and I have Mark Andrews one. The only time I've ever drafted a tight end high, and Hunter Henry is definitively better than Mark Andrews right now.
I don't even know. I mean, I guess it's Jacoby Brissett, right? What a quarterback he is. I mean, he just knows how to just throw it.
Get him a
right?
contract. Corey, how'd your fantasy week go? Man?
So there was some good, but there was a lot of frustration. I was 1-1 in my 2 leagues. In my 1 league, Kamara obviously went off. We talked about that. He gave me 40. But injuries and just Anthony Richardson in general. Anthony Richardson was awful. 3 interceptions, gave me just under 10 points in the Marywood League. And then, of course, injuries, A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Pacheco, all 3 of them got injured across my 2 leagues. So I'm really concerned about my receiving core right now.
Your team's name is Home Sweet Mahomes. We got to change it to Home Sweet Hospital. With all the guys going down. Before you hop on, I think we got to get a certain somebody. So I think we're going to do a little hybrid between fantasy freakouts. I think it's time to get in the alley. It's time to go to Soren's alley. Soren Swanson, how are we doing?
We are doing okay.
He knocked something down over there. Come on, Soren.
Oh, he knocked the Pix crown down.
You already know I'm not happy with you. Now you're messing things up in the studio.
So, Soren, before we get to you, John, how did your fantasy week go?
Well, I just want to touch upon first that fantasy baseball in the semifinals. I faced Vinny and I beat him, so that's a good thing.
Go get some money.
Trying to get the money in the championship this week, but my football teams did not do well. Both teams lost. They got my one team. We got killed. Like I don't even want to talk about that. And then I lost close game to Soren, but we'll get to that.
Nah, he blew you out. What are you talking about?
It was like 1 point. Come on. Mahomes just did not play well. He only had like 12 points. No, my tight end. I just have no luck with tight ends. Last year, the same thing. I'm trying to pick a different one up every week. It just doesn't work. I have in my one team in 2 weeks combined 2 points between 2 tight ends. So that just shows that. Dak with just 12 points. He's my other quarterback. Jefferson's injured, but I think he'll be okay. So I'm not. When I wrote that last night, I was very upset about it. So I kind of got a little ahead of myself. But I do have to say, Brandon Aubrey though, he is a cheat code. That guy, 18 points yesterday. I mean, he's like my leading scorer for my team.
He's your best producer.
He's my best player right now.
I thought it was your best player was Devontae Adams though.
Adams had a good game.
Soren, I don't want to know about it. I lost.
Yeah,
so
Soren, why don't you break down the matchup for us? What happened between you and John?
Oh, it was tight. To be honest, it was a gutsy win, but I still think my fantasy team is still not good.
Yeah, it sucks.
I mean, it was like there was a lot of players that just did not perform. Like my rant this week is going to be Michael Pittman. He has been not getting the ball or scoring touchdowns. Like I'm a little concerned about that because like he was a top selection for me as a wide receiver, and he's just like not performing at all. This is just bad, like really bad. And I accidentally sat Zay Flowers, and that was not a smart decision because, boy, he had a touchdown and some receiving yards. So I mean, there's that. At least.
you won though, so what are you complaining about?
A win's a win. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
But it was Lamar did not also perform well. That whole Ravens game was just awful to watch.
Sorry, but you won.
Yeah, well,
I understand that, but like it.
You're annoying me right now because you're complaining about your team.
He's rubbing it in.
Yeah, you're like rubbing it on my face right now. Come on.
Nah, keep rubbing it in.
Now he's smiling.
Yeah, make John do the fantasy punishment. What should we make him? What should we make him do? What would be a good fan? Maybe that's a top 5 we could do. A pick 5 could be fantasy punishments. Because I mean, in the last 2 years, the first year of the league, the loser had to do TikTok dances.
Oh Jesus!
And that was one of them got up to I think 26K views.
Why?
And then last year, the loser got a haircut of the league's choice. And we gave him the Von Miller triangle in the back of the head. Didn't go completely buzz cut or completely bald though, but we gave him a very tight buzz cut with a very uneven triangle because I cannot cut hair. I found out that is not a future profession for myself. But Soren, what else do you got for the alley? What's going on today?
I was just gonna say my tight ends are also bad too. Like
Once
the Joku got hurt, my tight ends got screwed. Like I need to find somebody quick for next week.
That's why there's the waiver wire.
Soren, that's why I'm upset because your team's terrible.
Well, I thought it was good. I thought my team was good.
Your team's not good. I could have gotten you to be 0-2, and you would have been out of the race already. You could have been doing a punishment. Nothing will give me more joy than seeing you do the punishment.
I think my team is at least mediocre. I think it's gonna make it play. Well, I do face you again. I think in week 15.
Week
13.
13. Hopefully by then you're out of the race, and I just
week.
beat you by like 90.
Well, let's hope that he's out of the race.
We'll see what happens.
What happens if he's out of the race, and he knocks you out of the playoff race. Takes him down with you.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We might have to make a little he knows ball wager for that. Might have to do like a little forfeit punishment for you guys.
Oh boy. I don't.
John,
I don't think that's.
I think he's scared to do it. So
No, I'm not scared. But I
don't think he is. But
So
I
right
think
now you're agreeing
I
with
think
me,
both of us would be scared, but I don't know. So
now you're speaking for me, Soren. This is what is going on today?
yeah, I don't know what's going on, but
Oh my
it's
God,
just yeah. I mean, the Colts are just a disappointing football team. End of story. Get it together. Gee whiz. Good lord.
All right, Soren, get out of the alley, man. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks everybody.
We'll bring back Corey.
Please.
Corey, what did you think of Soren's alley? What was as you tangled up here? What did you think of Soren's alley?
I don't want to walk down that alley. I think
Scary place to be.
it's a scary place to be.
There's dogs. There's
Yeah, there was a lot of ideas jumping around, I guess you could say. There's a lot on his mind.
Usually is. Soren's a man of many words.
Yeah.
Does he know what he's saying?
It may not make sense,
I was
but
gonna say, does he know what he's saying? Not necessarily all the time.
I don't know,
it's
but
all up, Soren.
congrats to Soren getting the win, but obviously it's only week 2, so.
yeah. Overreacting over there. Then he's trying to make me feel better by saying that his team didn't do good. That's really gonna help the situation.
So, we're out
done.
of
You're
out
done,
of the
Soren.
alley.
No
You're-
more.
you're
Sorry, we
done.
drove
You're
out.
done.
We're away from the alley.
You're
Yeah, no
done.
more.
You're
The matchup,
done.
we're not talking about it anymore. It's over.
Yeah, you lose.
I did lose.
It's okay. Bounce back. You're 1-1 now. You're not in dead last. I think your brother's dead last. Your brother's team is so bad.
Or Ben. Ben's team's not great.
Oh, because you beat him last
I
week.
beat him and he's getting killed again. So.
Ben might have to change his team name also.
What's Ben's best team? Ben's worst team. Ben's not even here to defend himself. He's out golfing right now.
He's listening to us though. He could
Hi, Ben.
Ben Galco on the course with the AirPod in. Just
Hey, I like the match.
He's listening to us every time we mention him. He's hole in one. Let's hope Ben's having a good day. John, you know what one of my favorite things is about football season?
the food. Yeah.
The food, yeah. I mean, food's always good. I think one of my favorite things is this is not a free ad read for Buffalo Wild Wings, but we got it yesterday. Some sauce.
You got it.
You didn't get. Oh, I forgot. Damn. How can you celebrate a Jets win and not get the sauce?
I couldn't take the spice yesterday. I wasn't feeling
It
that.
was honestly. I don't know what they put in it yesterday. The sauce was killing me. It was so spicy.
I got the garlic parm ones. Those were good. Garlic parm with the nachos and the fries.
That sounds
after
really
a nice
good,
Jets
yeah.
win.
Sounds very good.
Nice healthy dinner after a big victory. But no, seriously, they don't have sauce at MetLife, right? They got to get it there if they don't. They got to put a Buffalo Wild Wings or something in.
So they got to figure it out. Yeah. I mean, that stadium. We're not going to do that. We're not going.
That's the main concern at MetLife is they need
Yeah.
sauce.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. But no, seriously, like I don't know how you guys feel. I love me some stadium food. Especially like when I know a lot of people when they go, they don't spend money. It is kind of expensive, and I understand
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But like I love like when I go to a Phillies game, getting a little Schwarberger. Ryan Howard's Southern Kiss chicken place down the first baseline, phenomenal. I love getting ballpark food.
You know, ballpark food, sometimes it's just like garbage, but sometimes it's like get a really good, set of fries, a nice burger,
Yeah.
a nice cold drink in hand.
Some crab fries.
Something.
Love
Yeah, it's-
some
oh, yeah.
Chickens and Pete's crab
Oh
fries. Would
yeah,
love to see
they're
it.
good. Yeah.
But my pick 5, I got nominated for it this week. You did a great job talking about getting football in Egypt last
Yeah,
week.
the last episode. Well, I gotta
The
say,
Lost Chronicles of his ball.
yes, they're gonna play in Egypt at the pyramids. It's gonna happen. So
Oh my lord! But yeah, so I got nominated this week, and with the MLB regular season kind of wrapping up, I want to talk about the top 5. I don't know if I want to call it most egregious, but craziest ballpark foods that are still currently being served. So I'm going to start it off. We're going to go out to Pittsburgh for the Pirates. The Renegade hot dog. Nothing better than a good old hot dog. But this one's not your average glizz. It is a foot-long hot dog with pot roast, mini pierogies, caramelized onions, and pickles for $15. Now, for a foot-long hot dog, that sounds pretty reasonably priced.
that's a big dog, though.
That's a big dog.
Jeez.
I always joke about doing the 999. That's like 3 innings worth right
Yeah, like
there.
it's not. I'm not concerned about what they're throwing on there, but like, I mean, first of all, why are you putting pierogi? You just put the pierogies on the side.
Exactly.
At,
Why are you
at that
throwing
point.
It? Like, why are you right? Why are you
They
throwing
just
it on there?
came up with a couple things that, like, when they were cooking it, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood for some pierogies and pickles today. Let me just throw it on top.
I guess their goal is just to give people stomach problems. maybe to get them out of the stadium from watching the Pirates.
Or the Steelers.
Get the Renegades on. Well, no, Steelers are 2-0. We stay riding hot with the.
We'll see. We'll see.
I would give that a try though.
I think I would.
Yeah.
We just try this list. I didn't try number 1. I can tell you that. We'll get to that in a minute. Number 4, we got down in Arlington, Texas, the Murfadilla. Great name. Named after it was David Murphy, if not mistaken. It is a 24-inch quesadilla with brisket, lettuce, tomato, jalapenos, and cheese on a bed of Doritos for $26.
A bed.
I bet just laying it. It's so this, and I'll highlight the next pick in a minute. But both of them from Texas, both located at Texas Size 24, a restaurant in the stadium. Everything there is either 24 inches or 24 ounces. And this thing, a 24-inch quesadilla. I've never measured my quesadillas. I'm assuming they're probably. I'm not bringing out the tape measure for them, so I'm assuming probably something like 8 inches, give or take. So this is about 3 times that, and it's packed to the brim, brother.
Brisket, lettuce, tomato.
I mean, I'm with it. I'm down south with their brisket. I bet that thing's phenomenal. For $26 for that big of a so it's about $1.12 for an inch of the quesadilla. You get 26 friends and split it, or get 24 friends and split it 24 ways. Everyone can get a little taste.
That I don't even know where to begin. Like, if I have this in my hand, like, there's a lot of stuff in it. I feel like stuff's just gonna fall out.
How do you start?
Like, where do you begin?
I think they give you a carrier.
Do they put like the big stick through it to hold it?
I believe so. I think they do it from the next one too. Number 3, also from Arlington, Texas. Not sponsored by Big Justice, but the Boomstick. You thought that quesadilla was crazy. Get a load of this thing. 2-foot hot dog smothered in chili, nacho cheese, jalapenos, and caramelized onions. Rumored to weigh almost 3 pounds. Cost $33. I don't even know where to start. How you were talking about how to eat a quesadilla. How are you eating a hot dog that's smothered, not covered, not with chili on it? And I quote, it said smothered in chili.
Oh, it's just there's no dog left. It's just nacho cheese and everything on it.
I mean, dude, everything is bigger in Texas, but golly, dude.
But like, how's your heart gonna feel after eating the 3 pounds
Heart
of food?
palpitations. Like, how are you even picking?
You're not gonna make it home.
No,
Like,
seriously, like, they have to have medical staff on standby if you order that. You have to make sure your will's signed. Make sure.
yeah. Well, my thing is, if you can't, like, if you're let's say you're dining in and you want to take it to go, like, what kind of to go box are they gonna give you?
Like I said,
have one.
like I said,
There's
I think it comes in a giant, like, 2-foot carrier.
What are they giving out briefcases?
I'm being serious. It's basically, when I was looking this up last night, it looked like it was a little carrier, like almost a shopping bag, almost, but like a 2-foot long shopping bag. It was crazy.
Well, what happens if you're flying home? How are you gonna get that through TSA? First of all, how are you gonna get that through on the plane?
I was gonna make a joke.
I was
gonna make a joke about being a drug mule. We're not gonna go.
Look at this, Corey. Oh,
That's what I'm
Oh my
saying. Like,
God,
that is
no,
insane.
There's no way.
Like, that is insane, dude. Look, I understand everything is bigger in Texas. They can eat down there, but who in their right mind is eating that? We want to talk about who in their right mind is eating that and talking about egregious food. Let's go to number 2.
This is what it should be, the egregious food list. That's what it is.
Number
absurd.
number 2, Taste of the K Taco out in Kansas City. I don't even know if I want to read this. It's a hot dog wrapped in a cheeseburger quesadilla, topped in brisket, French fries, a little bit of shredded romaine to keep it healthy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Pickled red onions, sriracha Cracker Jacks, and 816 sauce.
Yeah, they want to say it's like a salad, I guess. Right?
It is 25. I think it's crazy that this is $25. John, if you want to look up I would say both of you look up a picture of this thing. I was looking at this last night. It looks like something from a nuclear power plant. Like that thing. And they just introduced it this year.
Bro,
this
what
this
is that?
Dude, it looks like, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a mutant.
What?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is insane that it looks like that.
You take one bite and you're gonna lose everything.
That's
you're
like
losing
you
everything.
have to eat that with a fork and a knife.
You
dude.
definitely got to start with a fork, and then you can work your way. Then you can work your way in because it's overflowing.
They probably hand it to you like this too. They don't give you anything to carry. It's just you have to. I guess like they
Well-
give you a whole tray for it.
Well, there's one of the pictures. I
Oh,
wish
they
the camera could see it, but point proven. Like the guy took one bite. He's I'm smiling. It's good. It's good. And then half of it's
It
gone.
falls apart.
Half of it's
No,
gone.
seriously, it is a mess of a meal. But it's not the craziest thing that I found for John and I were talking about this. It's not the craziest thing that I found for ballpark foods. Number one, and you will never catch me dead eating these. Out in Seattle, for $6, you can get toasted grasshoppers. Disgusting. You get a 4-ounce cup of toasted grasshoppers, and just to add a little flavor to it, some chili lime salt seasoning. Now, this might be financially the best thing to get. I am not eating grasshoppers, man.
Yeah, but who decided to do this?
Dude, this isn't even like a new thing. Like the Taste of the K taco is like, I think they introduced it around mid-season this year. The grasshoppers is something they've been doing for a few years now. This is not like a new thing.
Yeah, but who's eating it?
Clearly, if they're having
Who's eating it?
Clearly, if they're having it, they have to have enough people buying it.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess in Seattle they like grasshoppers
Like what the heck? Yeah, I'm gonna get a cold beer and then toasted grasshoppers
with the lime salt.
with the
seasoning.
lime salt.
That's gonna get you.
The chili lime salt, a little sweet and savory. Well, that's our pick 5.
Listen, it was a great list, but just abominations.
All right, let's real quick before we move on. If you had to rank, or if you had to only try one of them, you cannot try. I think the toasted grasshoppers. I'm gonna leave them for someone else. But like, if you had to try one of them, which one would you go with?
I want that Murfadillo.
The
just reading
Murfadillo
it.
sounds good, dude.
Yeah, it does
Did you just
sound-
take Murfadillo.
Murfadillo. That's what it says.
It's like a quesadilla.
Yeah, but
John.
I don't say that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, definitely that. Maybe even the Taste of the K.
the Taste of the
'Cause you
K.
can kind of handle that. You just have to have like
Yeah.
a large
I just-
tray underneath.
I just think all of them are hot dogs, and I'm all right with some hot dogs, but like I don't know if I can eat like 2 feet worth of a hot dog. That
No.
seems like so much. I think the taste. I'm just very. I wonder if I could like ask for certain parts of it. Like the sriracha Cracker Jacks actually sound really good.
It does. It does.
That sounds like a fire ballpark food. But I'd probably be the same boat. I would try the Murfadilla, as John will call it.
They
like-
should just change it to that.
the
Yeah, come
Murfad-
get your
I don't know,
Murfadillo.
some Doritos are always good too. I love some.
Yeah. Well,
Doritos.
Soren loves his Doritos.
What
we
kind of
know.
Doritos? What flavor is it?
I think just nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. Soren likes nacho cheese Doritos.
I wonder if you could like pick the flavor. That'd probably enhance it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that would
That's a
be
good
that would be a
idea.
game changer, I think.
Not Seattle. Do you guys want to pick the flavor of your grasshopper? It's no. I'm no thanks.
Do you want honey hot or you want chili hot? All right. Let's move away from the food. What we got?
The Murfadillo.
Oh my
Wow.
god!
Holy.
Like that thing is insane. That's what I'm saying. Like
That's like something you buy for like a Super Bowl party.
I have
Yeah.
to find this image.
Not two people.
I have to find this image. I went to this game back in 2015, and the Phillies had this burger. It was called the Triple Triple. It was 9. It was 9 slices of cheese and 9 burgers. And what was it? I was 12 in 2015, 11 or 12 in 2015. Little Vin devoured this whole freaking burger. I gotta find this picture. It's on one of my old Instagrams. I gotta go back and try and find it. But oh my lord, it was probably the size of my head. It was about this big.
Really?
They had like a foot-long toothpick in it, so like the thing wouldn't fall apart. And the thing that sucked is it wasn't even like it wasn't like it was all dressed up. It was literally just meat and cheese. There was like no lettuce, no tomato. I didn't put any ketchup. I literally just ate. It was just beef and cheese for like. And dude, I ate it in like 4 innings too. Like little
Oh my
Vin was
God.
going to town on this thing. But let's move away from the food. Let's talk about our teams. JD, I'll let you get started with your team takes.
Okay, so we'll start with the Mets. They lost 2 out of 3 this weekend against the Phillies. They could have swept them. They had 2 leads Saturday and Sunday. They blew both of them, so I'm not too concerned. But with Lindor, though, he hurt his back. He had a double the other day, rounded second, kind of fell awkwardly, and then he sat Saturday, and then yesterday he played, got a hit, could barely run to first base, so he's getting an MRI today. I mean, if he's out, that season's basically over because he's been the only guy that's been consistent throughout the entire year. But we'll see what happens with that. They're tied with the Braves for the wild card spot going into this week. So this is a big week for both teams. The Mets start with the Nationals tonight for 3, so I think they gotta sweep, because if you're not going to sweep them, then 4 games against the Phillies, that's going to be tough. We'll move over to the Jets. Big W yesterday. Aaron Rodgers gets his official first win as a Jet, even though last year counted, but no one counts that. He had 2 touchdowns. I think he showed that he's a difference maker, and I don't even think he's where he's going to be by the end of the season yet. The 2 touchdowns was huge. He took control of the team, which is something they needed. I was talking to my family yesterday. We're all big Jets fans. Like, if that's Zach Wilson behind center yesterday, they're not winning that game. They're losing that game by probably 2 touchdowns. They took advantage of the turnovers, too. That's what a good team's got to do, and they did that. And also the killer bees. I know Breece Hall nicknamed himself, and Braylon Allen, the rookie 20-year-old, who's the youngest player to ever score a touchdown in the NFL. The killer bees, man, they're hot right now. Both of them. I feel Braylon Allen's established himself. And then Notre Dame with the huge, I put like 5 G's here, the huge win over Purdue, 66-7. That was exactly what they needed going into this week with Miami over Ohio, which could be a letdown game if you let it happen like that. So I kind of feel they got to take that momentum. Riley Leonard, his throwing ability is still not there, but he ran very, very well. So hopefully he can continue that.
You said you wanted us to do it.
We can do it. If you
The
want to do
fir-
it,
the first Aaron Rodgers. Well, technically the second Aaron Rodgers
It's
win
the
as a
first.
Jet, but it's the first
Yeah.
that he actually contributed to. Should we get one?
Yeah.
Let's
Are
do
you
it.
ready, boys?
Yep.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets.
Go Jetties, I guess. The New York Football Jets.
Stop saying that, please.
Corey, what do we got for your team takes, brother?
So I talked about it's the Steelers, of course. They got the win against the Broncos. I wasn't very impressed. They looked good in the first half. Justin Fields, like I said, was 10 of 12, 101 in the air, a touchdown. Second half, just threw the ball 8 times, 16 passing yards. The defense was lights out again. Just had pressure on Knicks all day. They took their foot off the gas a little bit in the fourth. The main concern is the offense still and the penalties. I mean, they had 10 penalties in that game. 3 from Broderick Jones on that first drive.
Go Broderick
I
Jones.
was about to break my TV. I'm like, Tomlin, just get him out of there. He's like, it's my bad. I didn't mean to go offsides. I didn't mean to hold. But
we know it's your. I hate when players do that. We're like, that's my fault. Like, we know it's your fault. You don't have to remind us.
But going into against the Chargers next week, first home game, the offense they got to get going. That's the only thing I have to say about that. They just have to get going offensively.
Let's hope so. I mean, hey, this defense has been very good. Could definitely get after Jay Herbo and the Chargers, but
We'll have to wait and see.
Let's
Yeah.
hope the offense is Mr. Unlimited coming back next week, or is it still time to keep playing the
I
Fields?
think we stay with Fields again. I don't know, because
He stays suited up on the sideline, though. He's ready to go
Yeah.
in. He's like, Coach, I'm good to go,
I think they
man."
said that yesterday's game he was emergency backup.
Well, he's been for both games, but he's taking that like he could run to the locker room and just get suited up. No, he's high knees
He's
on the
ready,
sideline.
yeah.
He's ready to go, man. But yeah, go Steelers. 2-0, leaders of the AFC North so far.
We'll keep it going.
If
yeah.
the season was to end today, they might have a first round bye. I don't know if they would. We'd have to look at the point differential.
we would hope.
We'll go to my team takes. I'll start off with Oklahoma because John already highlighted a little bit, but I'll remind you about the Phillies, though. Oklahoma, they won, which is great. They're 3-0. But kind of how I was last week when they beat Houston. They won a much better day. They played a lot better than they did against Houston, winning by 15 points. But just didn't look great. Jackson Arnold, in the 3 weeks as Oklahoma's starting quarterback this season, he hasn't exceeded 200 pass yards. He was very good on the ground, had 97 rush yards and 2 touchdowns this week. Thrown for about 63%, which is fine. It's not like earth-shattering, but it does the job. But the big concern is each of those games he's been sacked 3 times. They have not played an SEC defense yet. They play Tennessee this weekend. If he's already under pressure against, not to disrespect the Temple Owls, the Tulane Green Waves, or the Houston Cougars, but those aren't like these aren't like these defenses that should be dominating Like, you're getting your quarterback, kind of killed out there against teams you should be dominating against. And it's a little worrisome once SEC football starts because I know they face Tennessee. They have Texas in a few weeks. They face Bama at some point. LSU's on the come up again. Like, they have a lot of tough matchups. And if he's under pressure like this, I'm kind of scared to see what happens when the SEC starts. But another great game from El Capitan, Danny Stutzman. I believe he had 12 tackles this week, just going crazy. And our Mason Thomas, 3 sacks this week, getting after the quarterback. When I see 3 sacks, I'm okay seeing it from the defensive side. But when I see my quarterback getting hit that much, I don't like that. But John had talked about the Phillies a little bit. Mets losing 2 of 3. But the Phillies said 2 of 3 in the series, 2 very big come-from-behind wins. And not necessarily getting the contributions from the guys you expect. Now, JT did have the walk-off yesterday. Harper did have 2 home runs on Saturday. But the platoon guys getting some work in. Saturday, Cal Stevenson recently called up from Lehigh Valley a couple weeks ago. 2 RBI double to give the Phillies the lead. And then the next inning, first batter comes up, home run. Stevenson takes it back into the field. And then yesterday, Weston Wilson and Buddy Kennedy going back-to-back for doubles in the 8th to tie it, giving the Phillies a chance to walk it off against Mr. Trumpets himself, Edwin Diaz. I just renamed him.
Or Ed Luz Diaz yesterday.
That's a terrible pun. But
I didn't make it up. I got it from somewhere else. So
no, it's okay. But we'll stick with baseball though. Let's do our weekly White Sox recap. We made some predictions on the Lost Chronicles of how the rest of the A season would go. I think we had them at 125 losses.
Yep, that was right. Yeah.
Did they end up winning yesterday?
they won the last 2 games.
No,
So-
we were right on every. We picked every single result of the series, and we had them only taking one from the Athletics, and they end up
won 2.
winning.
Winning
They end
2.
up
They got
2.
2.
Kind of selfish if you ask.
2 close games too.
Yeah.
It's kind of selfish if you ask me, man.
They almost blew it yesterday. I was like, please, you're almost there. Just do it.
Yeah. White Sox return to action tonight against the Los Angeles Angels. What do we have them doing against the Angels?
They played them 6 times coming up. So I think we
I
said
think we
3-3.
said they-
I think they
lose-
were.
they
I think they
lose-
were getting. Was it swept in
No,
Anaheim?
I think they had.
Well,
one
right
of-
now they won 2 in a row, so they're probably going to do it again.
They're hot. They're hot.
And they're hot.
3's a streak, man.
Yeah.
I think we said in Anaheim they would.
I think it was 2. I think they.
2.
Lose.
I think
Or
they
lose
won.
2. I think.
I think they won. I think we said like they won the second game, and then for their home series they would threaten the sweep. They'd win the first
Yeah.
2 but lose the last. But
Yeah.
115 losses. Who do you think is worse for the sport, the White Sox or the Panthers?
The White Sox, 'cause it's a longer season, and
Yeah.
they're just so
It's
terrible.
just a longer stretch of just being god awful.
Yeah.
I don't even think god awful is the right word.
Well, I mean, like we said,
we're-
maybe the last home series, the White Sox broadcasts aren't showing up. The fans have to bring their own
Bring
equipment.
your own broadcast.
Bring your own broadcast.
BIOBB. You all right there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good.
But let's look in at the standings. A couple of teams' magic numbers are now available. So we'll start with the AL. The Yankees still hold the division, looking like they're going to separate. Orioles 3-7 in the last 10, not looking great. The Guardians and the Astros lead the division. Royals and Twins, the last 2 wildcard spots behind the Orioles. Tigers and Mariners kind of threatening, though, still very much within striking distance, only 2.5 games back. The Mariners facing the Yankees, a tough series. The Tigers they're in Kansas City, so this is an important series because this could really swing how the rest, and even with Minnesota being right there, too. Minnesota facing Cleveland, so a lot of shakeup could happen in the division. If the Royals win, if they sweep the series and the Twins sweep, Royals could be in contention, could put themselves very much in contention for the AL Central. I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but how do we think the AL is going to shake out? Do we think the Yankees are going to take the division still?
Well, yeah, last week I know the Yankees were only up by what? They were like, it was like, I think they
it
might
was
have been tied. Maybe,
Tied or
like
a half game, yeah.
Now they're up by a lot more than that, so I kind of feel that's over. The Guardians got the division, obviously.
I don't know. dude.
They'll be fine. They're up, what, 4 games right now? So they should be good. The Astros, they're good. But I don't know. I feel that the Tigers, I think they're making a push for the Twins. You just said it, how they're playing the Royals. But I don't know. The Mariners, I know they won 3 in a row. They've been hot, too. But they've got the Yankees. The Yankees want that 1 seed. They're hot right now.
This might be the only time the Tigers have ever rooted for the Kansas City Royals. Or rooted for the Cleveland Guardians, sorry.
Guardians.
This has to be the only time that they have ever rooted for them, because if they get hot in this Royals series and they end up stealing 2 of 3 against Kansas City and Cleveland sweeps, they're right there. We'll switch over. Actually, let's look at Magic numbers real quick. Looking at the National League. I don't know why I can't find the American League. But we'll go over to the National League. Phillies obviously coming up with 2 big wins against the Mets. That last spot tied between the Braves and the Mets. Braves losing on Sunday Night Baseball. Brought to you by ESPN. No ad reads, no sponsorship. But the Braves and Mets kind of seeing, it's more so instead of duking out for the last spot, seeing who could lose that last spot. That's the way it's going with both these teams the last couple of days. But both of them hanging on. It seems like Arizona and San Diego will be locked in. But how do we think that last wild card spot is going to shake out? Mets have a 4-game series coming up against the Phillies a little bit down the line. They have Washington, which is very important. It's a series that the Mets should take at least 2 of, if not more. Should probably get the sweep. How do we think that last wild card spot's going to shake out?
I think it's going to come down to the very end. I mean, the Braves finish up against the Dodgers, and then, they got the Reds in Miami. But then the last 2 series, again, against the Mets and the Royals, I mean, that's really going to change everything, obviously, against the Mets. But I think it's going to come down to the end. And like you said, I think it's really who's going to sell first, pretty much.
So I know who you're rooting for.
Of course, yeah.
But
Mets.
how do you think it will shake out?
It's just next week, the next 3 games, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series against the Braves. That's it, I think. Whoever wins that series is going to be who makes the playoffs. Because right now they're deadlocked, tied with everything because the amount of games they played against each other and everything. So that series will be decided with the tiebreaker. And the Braves have an easier schedule this week. So I kind of feel the Mets, because they're not gonna sweep the Phillies. We know that.
Yeah.
It would be tough to win 3 out of 4. So I think a split with the Phillies, sweep the Nationals. That's a good week. That would be 5-2 on the week. I think that's what they need. And especially the Braves got the Dodgers tonight. I forgot about that the last game. So hopefully they lose tonight. Mets win. They're up a game, so they have a little more room to breathe this week. But next week that'll be the deciding factor.
Fingers crossed, John.
That's it. Pray every day.
I'm not rooting against the Mets, but I just think with how much they're going to be playing Philadelphia and the Braves, like I said, it depends on that series. I think you saw Philly is hot at the right time. But again, magic number for them is 5. So once they get in, once they win the NL East, they're probably going to still try and get that. Well, they'll have that first round bye, but try to lock up home field advantage for the entire postseason. So maybe by the end of the Mets series, Philly kind of takes their foot off the gas. That's what the Mets are hoping for, but I don't want to root against you. But I do believe that the Braves will be the team to grab that last wild card spot, which sucks because the Mets were not supposed to be that good this year, and you've mentioned it before. You'd rather not be this good than get this close and come up short. So, but should be a very interesting shakeout for the rest of the wild card spots and the rest of the postseason coming up soon for the MLB. But let's switch away from the MLB. Big pay-per-view for the UFC this week, headlined by Sugar Sean O'Malley defending his title. And, I told Cam, I wanted Cam to do a little segment on it. And I went to his place, and I was expecting him to, have a couple things written down. Did a full breakdown of each and every round. So, Cam, what happened
Each
this
and every
Saturday?
round for every single fight.
In the Sphere, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. First off, I want to talk about that. I had a lot of concerns going into this main title fight, or not even the title fight. What am I saying? The whole event in itself. I thought at least from a fighter's perspective, how do you prepare to go into there when you got all of these flashing LED lights behind you? It's if you're back, if you're the guy fighting, you're staring towards the crowd, the other dude's looking back, and there's just going to be a giant LED board of whatever they want on there. So that was my main concern with this whole event. But the UFC Dana White, I believe, absolutely killed it. You could say the actual like fights throughout the night. I'm not going to talk too much about the prelims. Chewy one, but you know, good for Raul. I'm not yet, but I think there was just one knockout on the night. As for the main card itself, everything went to decision. A lot of incredible fights, a lot of incredible performances. Merab absolutely nailed it. I mean, he could not have fought a perfect fight. The score for that night, actually, I kind of disagree with two of the judges, but the first judge had it 49-46, and then it was 48-47, 48-47. I don't see how O'Malley won 2 rounds.
I think it was closer to 5-0 than it was 3-2.
I think it was 4-1. I think it was clean. I think it was either
O'Malley's
round or
third.
3 or 4.
O'Malley's third was
he
probably.
kind of came back in here, but I mean, if you didn't even watch the fight and you want to look at the stat sheet, it just shows the pure domination. I mean, Merab, 10 minutes and 3 seconds of control on the ground. I mean, he had 23 leg kicks to O'Malley's 2. Total strikes for Merab, he threw 310, landed 214. O'Malley landed only 49, only throwing 91 that entire fight.
You could see the entire fight. He was looking, especially once he realized he was probably down 2-1, maybe 3-0 after third. He was looking for that lucky shot and never got his opportunity.
Well, he was getting dogged on the ground the entire time. And I mean, I don't know if I talked to a couple of my buddies before the actual fight started, but this was like the one fight going into it where I kind of felt like Merab was going to destroy O'Malley. I mean, O'Malley just didn't really look comfortable at the weigh-ins. For a guy who's supposed to be like even more, if not as much charismatic as Conor McGregor, I mean, he walks into the weigh-in, he looks like that weight cut like absolutely killed him. I mean, he's walking to the scale, his eyes are down, he's not even making eye contact with Merab. Merab goes for the handshake and he kind of like, he does one of these, like he looked very hesitant, like he kind of, I don't want to use the word scared, but like he knew he had an absolute demon in front of him, and he just, I mean,
it showed.
It absolutely showed. I mean, you can say that Merab ran away from round 5, but like, I mean, you're trying to win the belt, like you got to do it.
If you're up 3-1, at that point, honestly, like you said, possibly even 4-0. Like it just wasn't. It's not worth going in, especially saying that Sean. If you watch that 4th round.
I mean, yeah,
fourth and 5th round, he's looking for that shot. So why are you going to give him that opportunity?
Exactly. I mean, the only time that O'Malley really even got a good shot off on Merab is after Merab kissed his back like 5 times, and then he just stood up and walked away from him because he didn't really like do anything. Granted, I think Herb could have handled that whole situation a little bit better, but I mean, he didn't technically stop the fight, so I'm not going to say like O'Malley did like a loser move or anything like that. Like, I don't think it was necessarily uncalled for because like technically Herb really didn't step in to try and put that fight. But honestly, I don't really want to talk about that fight too much. I mean, it was just pure domination by Merab.
Herb does let people die, though. That's the thing. Herb,
I think he did a great night that night.
Yeah,
though.
no, he did. But usually in the past UFC pay-per-views and anything that Herb refs, you usually have to see someone get their brain bashed into the mat before Herb will jump on top of somebody.
Yeah, literally. Now going over to the ladies of the evening.
Shenko, babe.
Yeah, the assassin. I was actually really happy to see Valentina back. I was really rooting for her. I'm glad she got the victory out. I mean, 16 minutes of control on the ground. I think this fight definitely was a lot more close than the O'Malley fight it was, and that's only because like when they were both in the stand-up, like it was actually truly like a really entertaining fight. Like it was really a battle. But like once you got on the ground, I think that's where Valentina really showed why she is the champion and why she deserved it, because she's just a little bit better, well-rounded.
She also swept the scorecard, too.
Yeah, she did 50-45 for everything, all 5 round 5s. I don't remember exactly. That's probably right. But, I mean, the stats are pretty close for the most part for this fight. No knockdowns, unfortunately, in this one. But, I mean, it was mostly just a ground battle, like everything. I mean, Grasso, I went for the 2 submissions. What round was it? I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. Do you know what I'm talking about? Were you there watching the Valentina fight with me? Oh, round 4. Grasso went for a guillotine on Valentina, and I do not know how she survived this. I mean, she necessarily never got her arm underneath her chin, but she was just cranking her chin.
Neck, yeah.
She was cranking her chin for a solid 2 minutes, and you can just see Valentina's like just trying to breathe, just like survive it. I don't know how she slipped out of that choke. That was definitely Grasso's only chance of really closing out that fight for the night, but that was absolutely incredible ground defense by Valentina, and then be able to get up and just like stand there, continue to have that ground control by Valentina, absolutely incredible. But The fight that I was most impressed about for the entire night was that opening main card fight between Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ode Osborne. I think, yeah, Ode Osborne. That fight was absolutely incredible. I understand why Ronaldo won that fight. I mean, he had 9 minutes of ground control. He was pure domination when it came to being on the ground, but Osborne was throwing some absolute haymakers. I mean, he clipped him early in the first round. I mean, just like Rodriguez is just an absolute dog. He, I think it was a minute and a half into the first round, he just takes this wild right hook just straight on the chin, goes down to the ground, and immediately Osborne throws the triangle choke as soon as he's on the ground, and he somehow just kept his breath good, and he just was somehow able to slip out of that in the first round. Round 2 for that fight, I thought was a lot more guys just still trying to feel each other out. It was a pretty solid fight, just a lot of just little touches here and there, nothing too crazy. But that round 3 was just incredible by Rodriguez. I mean, he got him straight to the ground, did exactly what he needed to do. He went for the guillotine early, ended up failing out, and then he somehow, Osborne, after slipping out of the guillotine, goes straight into a rear naked choke. Rodriguez able to slip out of that one, and then it was just from the up and the ground from there. I mean, that fight, definitely my fight of the night, I think. If you missed that one, that was the one not to miss. I mean, everything else from the title fights were a lot more, I would say, one-sided, obviously from the score. I mean, really disappointed in Brian Ortega. I thought I was expecting a lot more from him, but Diego Lopez had a really good fight. I mean, he worked them. That's simple as, I mean, there was a couple times where Ortega probably should have gotten dropped, but his chin somehow held up. It was 30-27 for literally by all judges except for one, 30-26. But I mean, that fight was okay. Like I said, I was expecting a lot more from Brian Ortega, but Diego Lopez really just took control from the beginning.
Well, they made the announcement during 306. The main event of 309, John Jones versus Stipe.
Oh, my money's on Stipe.
It's 100% Stipe, dude.
I honestly, I would be shocked if that fight even goes through. Knowing John Jones's track history and everything, I would not be surprised if some sort of legal issue keeps him out of the octagon once again. But honestly, at this point, I'm not really excited for that. I'm excited for that fight. I don't really see it going through. I'm really excited for that Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira.
And then
I don't really care about Conor McGregor coming back to go fight Chandler. I'm really excited to watch Charles Oliveira against.
You know what I'm fighting? What fight from that card I'm excited for?
Oh,
I love me some Bo Nickel. Dude is an absolute menace. But 309's looking good. The next pay-per-view is 307. Roundtree going for the light heavyweight. Going for the title. What do we think? Roundtree's going to probably get smacked.
Alex Pereira, I mean,
there's no shot Pereira loses to Roundtree.
Probably.
Right?
I mean, he's got everything's going to be in Pereira's hands.
Unless he plays super conservative, kind of like Sean looking for that shot, but I don't think that's how he fights.
I don't know. I'm really excited for 307, actually. No, I haven't.
Now that you're looking at the cards,
I haven't looked at the prelims yet. Oh, Stephen Thompson, the Wonder Boy's coming back to fight. That's going to be awesome to see. Austin Hubbard. Jose Aldo is fighting in bantamweight really early on. Oh, Vince St. Pierre. Ooh. Okay, never mind.
Now you're fired up for 307.
Yeah, I don't even care. I don't even care about the Sphere anymore. Court McGee. Oh, yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
so I don't even care
that
so much
coming
about
up
that title
in a
fight.
couple weeks. I'm excited for that, man. Yeah. But last little bit before we get into predictions, gotta highlight Asia Wilson in the WNBA, the first ever player to score 1,000 points in a season. I think that deserves a little round of applause. I believe pretty historic. No, seriously though. I mean, obviously WNBA growing a ton this year, mainly due to Caitlin Clark. But Wilson, a vet of the league, going out there having a historic season for the Aces. WNBA playoffs starting up, I want to say next weekend. I believe 21st is the first game when we go out to the city of Pittsburgh. Hopefully come home with some hardware. But I think it's time for some Monday night predictions. Everyone got it right except for one person last week, John Downey, the only one to pick the Jets. Obviously, Jack, for our graphic, he picked the Jets, but last minute audible saved him. I believe we have to grab the crown. I know Ben isn't here, but there's a two-way tie. If Ben's not here, I guess I have to put the crown on.
There it is.
Currently 1-0. with the lowest point differential. I'm not going to wear this because it's going to fall off. But I'll put it in front of me. Put it in a safe spot. But so we got Monday Night Football coming up tonight. Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Atlanta Falcons. I'll get us started with an Eagles victory, 31-23. I think it's the Eagles defense. Still has a couple things that's to work on, so I think Atlanta will get clicking offensively. I think Cousins is due for a bounce back. I think it's crazy that for the third straight year on Monday Night Football, the Eagles are playing Kirk Cousins. They did it when he was in Minnesota last 2 years, and now they have him. I don't know why Roger Goodell loves scheduling this as the Week 2 Monday night game.
I don't know why he loves scheduling Kirk Cousins on primetime.
But I got the Eagles winning 31-23. I think Jalen Hurts has a much cleaner game. Turnovers was a big issue last week, but I think first game, being back at home, being in Philadelphia, go Birds, going crazy. I think goes for 4 total touchdowns. I think he throws 2. I think he rushes 2 in. I think we didn't see him move around on the ground too much last week. When he did, it wasn't great. Obviously, the field conditions not the prettiest. But I think Jalen going to have a very, very, very good game and limit the turnovers. And I don't have this written down, but I want to say I think Quinyon Mitchell, first career interception coming up. I think Cousins is going to look Drake London's way late in the game, and Mitchell's going to come up with a very key interception. But give me the Birds, 31-23. Corey?
I had the Eagles 35-17. I think Jalen Hurts, I agree with you. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a bounce-back game. I think he's going to be settled in. I think Saquon's going to continue to be Saquon. I think Hurts, I have him with 2 passing touchdowns tonight.
So do you think a defensive touchdown might come in, or you think Saquon's also going for 3 more again?
I think Saquon's going for 3 more again.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I know this Atlanta defense is very good, but Saquon kind of trying to prove that he's still a beast in this league. So, Corey, you got 35-17. JD?
I got the Eagles 27-17. I think the defense is going to step up big time tonight. I think they've had over a week now to work on those. I didn't really think it was major issues. I think just a few things they needed to fix. My guy Bryce Huff, I think he's going to pop out tonight. I know week 1 he did absolutely nothing, but I think tonight he's going to show why they signed him and gave him the money. 10 sacks last year, so he's going to be fine. I think Barkley's just going to step up once again, especially in the pass game. I know last week he caught a touchdown. He only had 2 catches out of the backfield, but no A.J. Brown tonight, who had 120 yards and 5 catches with a touchdown last week. So they got to replace that a little bit. So I think Barkley's going to help with that. And Barkley would be fine running on the ground, too. I mean, those holes they were opening up last week were absolutely nuts. So I think Barkley, big night. I think the defense will step up. I actually think the defense is going to score a touchdown tonight as well. So
let's go. Birds defense going crazy. Cameron, what do we got, brother?
Yeah, so primetime Kirk Cousins. I think we all know how that story has gone for the last, I don't even know. How long has he been in the league? For too long. I made a joke with, I live in a house with a bunch of Eagles fans. I made a joke that if Kirk Cousins stays in this game, it's going to finish what I said 27-12, but Michael Penix comes in. I think it can be a completely different story. But yeah, I have Birds winning 27-12. I think if Kirk Cousins is still on the field, they're not going to throw a single passing touchdown. I think the only passing touchdown that he might throw is a pick 6 to Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean.
Rocking the Wawa shirt too today.
Yeah, it is time for Cooper to make his big play. I'm not a big fan of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, so I don't really have any faith in him ever. So yeah, 27-12 Birds.
Come on, come out of the alley there, buddy. What do we got?
Soren.
Come out of the alley. Oh God, not again. Soren, yeah. What do we think, man? Hop right here. You got it.
So, as we all know, the Eagles, they were kind of, you're playing on a field that's not really the best of all conditions. But I feel like the Eagles are still going to get the win here against the primetime Kirk, which he often struggles. But fun fact, actually, my brother and his friend are actually going to the game tonight.
Oh,
that is a fun fact.
And that Nick Foles is actually getting inducted tonight. So that should be an interesting thing to see. So, like
Soren, did you just question the Lynx field conditions?
No, he's talking about Brazil.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point that you just brought up, though.
You were the one talking about that.
I wasn't the one to bring up the point.
Go back to the alley.
He's back on for 2 seconds and he's already starting something.
Oh
this
my
guy.
lordy. Mr. Biggs, would you like us to give the pick for you, or would you like to hop on? All right, he gives the thumbs up from behind the camera. Mr. Biggs, are you sure you're not switching up this time? No switch. So Jack is going with the Eagles 20-10, having faith in that Birds defense to slow down Atlanta, led by Kirk Cousins. Ben out at the links. He submitted his pick. We had to ask if we made sure no one hacked his phone, made sure he was made sure he definitely wasn't under the influence, but he picked the Eagles to win. This was also before the A.J. Brown news noting that he would miss this week, but he picked the Eagles to win 45-7. So I think the standings might get shaken up a little bit. I don't know if Ben will be at the top of the table anymore, but who knows? He picks the Eagles 45-7. And lastly, Bernie Radel, spin the Radel, completing the Eagles sweep of He Knows Balls picks, 34-21. Here's the Birds winning. So unlike last week where there was one holdout of the eventual winner, everyone picking the Birds. Hopefully, everyone going back in one column. John,
I'll be in
hopefully,
last. I'll still be in last.
But hopefully, no, because you will.
Yeah,
because
I'll be in last.
Yeah,
'cause
you
everyone, yeah.
But guess what? Next week you have a chance. We'll have 2 games to pick from, 2 Monday night games. You know, we did the Jets chant for you. Could we get the little Eagles fight song to wrap up the show? What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's
get it
Let's
started.
do it.
Cam, get us started, baby.
Like the actual
Yeah,
fight
the
song, or
actual
just
fight
like
song.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
What a way
Oh, man.
to wrap up. This is the official first episode of He Knows Ball, but obviously we joked about the Lost Chronicles. I asked the question last time, and we found out that we didn't have the audio for it, but how do we think this episode went, man?
I think it went good. I think we did better than the first episode. The first episode went well also. Just a couple miscues.
I think the alley was a little something today.
Thank God we got him off when we. that wasn't gonna end well.
we gotta start putting a timer on them.
No, but
yeah, we need like a buzz, like
little buzzer.
like a yeah.
We got one.
There we go. Well, no, that's our trivia one. We gotta get a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, we need like a ding
That'll be
or
my
something.
homework.
The,
I got a week to figure that one
Nah,
out.
the censor button that we have just it cuts the mics. Just get Soren off the air. But no, seriously, I think very good episode. Very exciting week of football. And so, boys, all of us besides Jack, I hate to single you out there, buddy, but all of us heading out to Pittsburgh this week. Not so much related to He Knows Ball, but 7 of the 8 crew members for He Knows Ball heading out to Pittsburgh. We were nominated over the summer for a student Emmy for our production of a basketball broadcast here at Marywood, and I think we did a very good job. Hopefully we come back with some hardware. I've mentioned that a couple times throughout the
We
episode.
will show it off.
We will definitely show it off. Hit a little money Manziel. But no, seriously, I'm excited for the whole experience. I've never been to Pittsburgh before.
I haven't either.
I know, which is crazy as a Steelers fan.
Yeah, I know. It's like
we joked about maybe taking a trip where we're staying is right across from the Steelers Stadium. We were joking about maybe getting tickets, but it's too expensive. Got a little
My
price a little
God.
bit. Against the Chargers too. Maybe because Justin Fields is the quarterback. Maybe it went down a little bit. But no, seriously. Very excited to go out to Pittsburgh, have a good time with all you boys, and again, like I said, hopefully we come back with some hardware. John and I were joking last night. I think Romo and Nance are on the Steelers call. Maybe they're staying with us. Maybe they're gonna be roommates, man.
Cam did not like that one.
Jim Donnelly will be out there with Jim Nance as well. But no, seriously, I'm very excited for that. Hopefully we don't have too much fun, and we can come back next Monday and have another great episode of He Knows Ball. But again, I think we did a good job. Anything else we wanna say before we wrap it up for the day, boys?
no, but I'm excited for Pittsburgh. I can't wait to come back with some hardware.
No, that's really it. Good show today. I think we'll just keep it going. We're getting more and more comfortable with each other, which is definitely the biggest part. But I think we're good.
Should we try to get the Renegade dog while we're out there? Pirates aren't home, but maybe we could just break into the stadium and they can get it. They can get us some a Renegade dog or two.
That'll be our post-show meal
Yeah.
on Monday.
That's actually what they're serving at the dinner, the banquet. It's just the renegade dog. But thank you everybody for tuning in. If you haven't, make sure to follow us on all social media: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Always like, subscribe, and always tune in to VMFM 91.7, your alternative here at Marywood University. From everyone at He Knows Ball, I'm Vincent Goldschmidt. Everyone have a great day.